Gentle discipline that actually works, for toddlers and preschoolers. A parenting guide from Creative Minds Montessori. Discipline confusion usually isn't about being too soft or too strict. It's about being inconsistent while drowning in contradictory advice. Kids don't need perfect parents, they need a few calm, clear limits that hold the same way every time, and the same way at home and at preschool. Pick a small set of principles: calm, clear, consistent, connected, offer real choices inside firm boundaries, skip the spanking and the screen-to-calm shortcut, and trust that you know your own child. Start with the word itself. Discipline comes from disciple, to teach, not to punish. Many parents conflate the two, so when they rightly reject punishment, they feel they've rejected discipline altogether and are left standing on nothing. Meanwhile, the culture hands them a dozen competing systems: gentle parenting, positive discipline, timeouts, time-ins, often via 30-second clips that each claim to be the way. The result is decision paralysis and a low hum of guilt. Two clarifications cut most of the knots. First, real gentle parenting is emotional connection plus limits. It aligns with evidence-based authoritative parenting. But social feeds pushed a distorted version: soothe endlessly, never let them be upset, that lacks limit setting entirely, so parents end up with no boundaries, an escalating child, and self-blame. Second, the actual failure mode is inconsistency, not softness or strictness. Children read whether a limit is solid. When rules shift with a parent's mood or which adult is in the room, kids escalate, not out of defiance, but to find the real edge. Parents have argued about this for centuries. Corporal punishment was near universal. John Locke pushed back in 1690. Dr. Spock mainstreamed warmth and consistency in 1946. Then came the backlash and the rise of the timeout. Today's parents are the first generation largely raising kids without the default they grew up with, so everyone is improvising, and the ground is genuinely contested. Corporal punishment is still legal in 17 U.S. states. What's new is the noise, advice louder and less helpful than ever, and one modern shortcut with real research against it: the digital pacifier. A 2024 JAMA pediatric study following children from 3.5 to 5.5 found a self-reinforcing cycle. An extra hour of daily screen time predicted more anger and frustration a year later, and more frustration predicted more tablet use the year after that. Handing the screen to end the meltdown works today and costs tomorrow, because it short-circuits the self-regulation practice the child needs. 3 common moves, honestly. The first, crackdown, consequences, raised voice, sometimes spanking. It feels decisive and can stop the behavior in the moment. But the AAP is unambiguous. Spanking, yelling, and shaming raise stress hormones and can alter brain architecture, and corporal punishment increases aggression over time without teaching self-control. One large study found a grim loop: more spanking led to more later misbehavior, which led to more spanking. And strictness applied only when you're stressed teaches the child it's about your mood, not the rule. The second move, going all in: gentle, validating everything, soothing through every tantrum, explaining at length. Connection matters, but without firm limits it slides into permissiveness, denies kids practice at self-soothing, and burns the parent out until they snap, producing the very inconsistency they feared. Notably, the leading evidence-based parenting programs recommend strategic disengagement when a child directs anger at the parent, not evermore engagement. The third move, distract, bribe, or hand over a screen: instant peace today, extrinsic motivation, and the tantrum tablet cycle tomorrow. And the cross-cutting backfire: shifting the rule to keep the peace teaches the child the fence is wobbly. The classic split: one adult leans rules and structure, the other leans grace and flexibility, and each quietly resents the other. The root cause is rarely values, it's family of origin. Couples almost never discuss discipline specifics before having kids, so each runs their childhood's autopilot, and different childhoods produce clashing autopilots. The real cost isn't the disagreement, it's the split the child sees. Kids quickly learn to route requests to the yes parent, which erodes everyone's authority. Hold the stereotype loosely: this isn't dads are strict, In single-parent homes, the two voices are often parent versus grandparent, or your own tired permissive and stress-strict modes hour to hour. The teamwork fix: talk through scenarios before the crisis, calmly, using other families as neutral examples. Present a united front in the moment and debate later in private, and let both adults flex toward the middle rather than one winning. One firm caveat: if an adult's discipline crosses into harm, that's a get help line, not a compromise. The frame for all three methods: calm, clear, consistent, connected. The how matters more than the specific technique, a few solid principles applied in your own voice. The first method: freedom within limits, real choices inside a firm boundary. Kids test limits partly to feel some control over their lives and partly to confirm the fence is solid, so the elegant fix is to give them genuine, bounded control, which drains the power struggle without surrendering the limit. This is Montessori's freedom within limits, deliberately positioned between permissive and authoritarian. The adult owns the non-negotiables: safety, respect, care of the environment, and inside them the child gets real choices. In practice, decide your non-negotiable first, then offer two acceptable choices inside it. You can hold my hand or ride in the stroller. Which one? Red cup or blue cup? Keep the limit itself calm and unchanging, following through the same way every time so it reads as solid. Introduce it with low-stakes choices: clothes, cups, which book, so your child experiences I get a say before you deploy it on hot-button transitions. The saboteur is offering a choice you can't honor: do you want to leave, when leaving isn't optional? A fake choice teaches the child that choices are traps. The second method: name the feeling, hold the limit, model the repair. All behavior is communication. A toddler who hits is telling you something, but the limit still stands, and this method holds both truths at once. The script is short by design: acknowledge the feeling, you really wanted that toy. State the limit simply: hitting isn't safe, I won't let you hit. And then, once the child is genuinely calm, which can take 30 minutes, patience is the job, model making amends: let's get a cool cloth for his arm. Two details make it work. Stay calm and low-word during the storm, and if you're about to lose it, take your own time out loud: I need a minute to calm my body, which models self-regulation more powerfully than any lecture. And practice the script when everyone's calm, so it's rehearsed before it's needed. For young toddlers, you perform the amends while they watch, handing the problem-solving over as they grow. What undoes it is the over-explain. Turning a one-sentence limit into a 5-minute ethics seminar overwhelms a small child. One kind sentence, held firmly, beats a paragraph every time. The third method: prevent and predict, routines, warnings, and catching them being good. Most misbehavior is a predictable collision between a small person and hunger, tiredness, or an abrupt transition, which means most of it can be prevented, leaving far less to correct. Structure isn't rigidity, it's frustration reduction. A child who knows what's coming doesn't have to fight it, and a child who gets attention for the behavior you want produces more of it, because attention is the sunlight behavior grows toward. So anticipate the triggers, feed and rest the child before the errand, not after the meltdown. Give transition warnings: 5 minutes, 2 minutes, now we clean up, and let a timer be the messenger. It's remarkable how much less a toddler argues with a timer. Catch them being good with specific praise: you put the blocks back without being asked. For a genuine cool down, about 1 minute of timeout per year of age, used sparingly and calmly. Introduce it one routine at a time: predictable bedtime first. Prevention looks passive, but it's where most of the wins are. From the child's side, limit testing isn't defiance, it's research. Your child is asking, in the only language they have, is this fence real? Will it hold if I push? A solid, consistent limit answers yes, you're safe, which is reassuring, not restrictive. And here's the backhanded compliment hidden in the hardest days: kids test most where they feel safest, which is why the biggest meltdowns land on the primary caregiver, at home. Being the target is a sign of trust, not failure. Both extremes feel bad from the inside. Harsh limits breed fear and sneaking, while too few leave a child feeling unbounded and unsafe. Children feel loved when they have boundaries. Discipline is where consistency across settings pays the biggest dividend, because a child who hears one coherent message at home and at school stops having to test both. A good program already practices positive guidance, redirection, choices, natural consequences, no shaming, so you get a working model to borrow. Its staff are trained observers who can tell normal limit testing from something that needs attention, and its rooms run on predictable rhythm with adults modeling calm problem solving. A weak program does the opposite. Harsh compliance at school while home stays gentle creates precisely the cross-setting inconsistency that fuels confusion. So run the communication 3 ways. You tell the center the triggers, naps, transitions, a new sibling, what you're trying at home, and the exact limit language you use, so they can echo it. The center gives you daily notes on successes and challenges, which strategies they used and how your child responded, not just he was fine. And the child is looped in, both settings using the same simple limit words, and involving them in solutions. How should we clean this up, rather than only imposing? Fair questions for any program. How do you handle limits and tantrums? How will I hear about it? And are you open to matching what we do at home? No single method fits every child. The same limit that steadies one overwhelms another. Part of the art is naming your own autopilot. Your upbringing shaped your reflexes, and noticing that is half the work. The antidote to the information flood isn't another system, it's a few solid principles, calm, clear, consistent, connected, applied in your own voice. And grace for yourself belongs in the method. Even devoted parents get triggered and yell sometimes. Repair after a rupture matters more than never rupturing. The apology you model may teach your child more about handling mistakes than 100 perfect evenings. For the full guide and more parenting resources, visit creativemindsmontessori.com/parenting.